Hello, my beautiful friends. How are you today? Welcome back to my Caliente Kitchen. And as usual, I have a caliente topic today. And for that reason, I make sure I brought an expert to you. So, I heard her speak at a national conference of nutritional dietetics about cannabis and CBD, and I was extremely impressed. And I'm finally was able to invite her, and she said yes. I was very excited about this. This is a friend, a colleague, Janice Newell Bissex. How are you, Janice?
I'm great. Hola, Manuel. So good to see you.
So to see you too. And AKA Janice, right?
Janice Wellness, yes.
I love that. Yes. So let's jump into it. So cannabis. What is cannabis? Is that marijuana?
Well, cannabis is the official term for it. So here is a plant. Okay, this is a cannabis plant. It's always been called cannabis. Mm-hmm. Now, in the early 1900s, we had some Mexican immigrants come over, and they called it marijuana. And the reason that cannabis was made illegal, it was political and racial. And basically, prohibition ended in the 1930s, and the government agencies needed another substance to vilify in order to keep their jobs. So since some black jazz musicians and Mexican immigrants used cannabis, the Mexicans called it marijuana, they said, this is it. We're going to go after this plant and make it illegal to possess it. So it gave them a reason, frankly, to imprison some of these people. It's just history. So it is cannabis, even though some people use the term marijuana still.
Marijuana. I see. Now, the stigma. They said the marijuana, cannabis is the gateway for other drugs. What is your opinion on that?
Right. And I think back 5 years ago, I had some of the stigma myself. I thought, oh yeah, medical marijuana. I really did. Until my dad had severe pain. They gave him all the traditional pain medications, which made him groggy, constipated, and feeling awful. So he was so constipated, it required a hospitalization. And at the end of the hospital stay, I said to his doctor, isn't there anything else we can do for his pain? I said, what about medical marijuana? Because it was just made legal in Massachusetts. And the doctor said, I think that's a great idea. And I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know anything about this. So as any good dietitian or daughter would do, I did some research. And the more I read, the more I thought, are you kidding me? This plant has been used for 5,000 years medicinally, and it's only been illegal for the last 80 years. So we got my dad certified. We got him a vape pen, went back to his house. He took 2 puffs and he stood up and he said, wow. And I said, are you okay? Are you dizzy? And he said, I'm not in pain. And I was dumbfounded. So I decided that day, leave my previous job, my business that I had for 15 years, went back to school to become a holistic cannabis practitioner so I could help other people.
That is an awesome story. I have to tell you, when I was reading your guidebook, by the way, this guidebook is excellent, The Simple Guide to CBD. And I read the story about your thyroid tear. I had a tear eye because I know a lot of people that suffer from pain, arthritis. So tell me, is anything related with rheumatoid arthritis that is very advanced? The people normally have chronic pain all the time. Is that where people can also use CBD?
Absolutely. CBD, let me tell you, we have the plant, right? And you
Yes.
and I are registered dietitian nutritionists. We believe in plant-based diets, right?
Oh, yes.
It's a plant, and it contains over 100 cannabinoids, it's called. So we have CBD is one of the cannabinoids. THC is another. People might be more familiar with THC. It's the cannabinoid that will make you high or stoned if consumed in excess. You can consume THC in small amounts, and it's really very good for you. It's anti-inflammatory. It decreases pain. But CBD is the particular cannabinoid that it's a potent anti-inflammatory. It's a very good anti-anxiety. And I don't know about you, but right now I don't know very many people who aren't a little bit stressed and anxious.
Of
So
course.
CBD, very good at decreasing anxiety, inflammation, pain. It can help some people with sleep, with irritable bowel, with inflammatory bowel disease. The list goes on and on, the conditions that might be helped. It is not a miracle cure. It will not work for 100% of people for 100% of conditions, but it's pretty effective for a lot of people that I work with.
That's amazing. Yeah, I work with a lot of people also. I help people lose weight. And
Yes.
one of their concerns is the munchies, right? So they're trying to lose weight, but they're trying to find solutions for their sleep, the pain, anxiety. And so which of these cannabinoids produces the hunger? And what is I guess I got so many questions for you. So the dosing, because I also have a personal experience I want to tell you about, but let's talk about weight loss a little bit and how can people know like this is going to help them with lose weight, but the hunger management and those munchie management.
Right. So the munchies are typically caused by the THC. That's what really gives you the munchies, which is, Manuel, it's good in the patient population that sometimes we work with, elderly people who lose their appetite, people who are undergoing treatment for cancer. So that's a good thing for some people. But if people are trying to lose weight, you really have to moderate the THC. And there is another cannabinoid that we're seeing actually decrease appetite, and that's THCV. So THCV, so if someone wants to use cannabis, they should look for a particular chemovar, also called strain, that's higher in THCV, because that can help suppress appetite. And CBD does increase appetite the way that THC does. So if someone says, I want to take CBD for pain, but I don't want to get the munchies, they don't have to worry about that.
Yes. Well, my experience with when I sleep, I am a horrible sleeper. I used to wake up in the middle of the night, and I went for traditional medication, so over the counter, and then prescribed medication by the doctor. Now I'm taking melatonin, but let me tell you about my experience. I went and got a chocolate with CBD and THC, but I don't recall the amounts, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But my experience was, okay, I'm taking this chocolate, and they say take it 20 minutes before you plan to go to bed. So I did that, but then I was getting high, and then I was laughing my head off for an hour. So I laughed so hard, and I mean everything made me laugh. Anything. I looked at the TV and I was laughing. So I was like, and then I spent a whole hour laughing, and of course I never went to sleep. I passed the window of the sleep. So and then I guess it didn't work for me, but maybe I didn't have the right dosage.
Right. And what happens, you're lucky that you were just laughing, because some people take a dose of THC and they get paranoid. They get anxious. Their heart rate increases. They get a dry mouth. They're really, really uncomfortable. They feel like, some people who have taken too much feel like they're going to die. Now, let me tell you, no one in the history of man has ever died of too much cannabis.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Because the receptors are not in our respiratory system or in our so we don't have to worry about that, but you can get uncomfortable. So with edibles, you have to start very, very low. So if you go to a dispensary and they give you a 10 milligram THC edible, do not take that whole thing. That's way too much for a beginner. You want to cut that into quarters and start with a quarter. And it takes up to 2 hours to take effect. So don't eat a quarter, and then 30 minutes, eat another quarter, and then another one, because then you will be uncomfortable.
I see. Now is it CBD or the THC that helps you with the sleep?
Well, it depends. Some people find that CBD is helpful for sleep because it's so relaxing. It decreases anxiety. And many of us don't sleep because we wake up in the night, we think about what we didn't get to yesterday, and we have to do tomorrow. And what happens if our show doesn't go live on time, and the technology? This is what keeps a lot of us up at night. So
exactly.
It's helpful for them. Although some people find CBD to be energizing. So those people, I say, take your CBD in the morning. It will energize you. It will reduce your anxiety, which should help you sleep at night. And a little microdose of THC before bed can help some people sleep. And I mean 1 or 2 milligrams before bed. Just a little bit. Sometimes that helps people sleep.
That's interesting you mentioned the milligrams, because a client of mine who knew that I was talking to you, he sent me a package that he just bought about chewables. And it sounds like the magic dose, because also, and the beautiful brownies that we're gonna make, it sounds like you want 5 milligrams per serving of CBD. And these chewables that he got has CBD and CNB, I believe. I forget that.
Yeah.
And yes, so, and it's about 5 milligrams each. Is that the dosage that people need to start with? That's the safe amount?
It's very, very individual. Some people find that 2 milligrams works. Some people need 20 or 30 milligrams. Now I'm talking about CBD.
Yes.
THC, well, it's the same for THC. Some people can use 2 milligrams, but if you have severe pain and you've used cannabis to treat that pain for many years, you might need 30 milligrams. And what happens is with THC, not CBD, with THC, your body develops a tolerance. So you need more and more as time goes on. So you must take a tolerance break. So for 1 week, you should not use cannabis with THC, or for a week every couple of months. That will reset your receptors and allow you to use a smaller dose. But luckily, you don't develop a tolerance to CBD.
Interesting. Now, I read in your guidebook, and it's funny, it's just like what we know as dietitians, you know, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients, and, you know, people try to isolate certain vitamin or certain antioxidant. But as we know, when you eat the actual plant as a whole, these vitamins, nutrients, phytonutrients, antioxidants work in a synergistic way, so they become more bioavailable, the strength is better. Is that the same for cannabis?
Yes, yes. The entourage effect, or the ensemble effect, says that the whole plant is greater than the sum of its parts. So you can go and buy a cheap CBD product, and it will be a CBD isolate. But that would be like, Manuel, you saying to one of your clients, you know, broccoli is good for you, but instead take a vitamin A pill. That doesn't work that way. Broccoli has fiber and flavonoids and antioxidants, so it's the same with the plant. You want a product that has all the synergistic compounds, the CBD with the other minor cannabinoids and terpenes. So terpenes give plants their smell. So if you smell mango, which we might be using this mango.
I love mango, yes.
When you smell the mango, this is myrcene. Mango contains myrcene, and it's the most common terpene found in cannabis, also found in mangoes. It's an anti-anxiety. It can decrease pain. It's a muscle relaxant, and it's anti-inflammatory. And if you take this with CBD, then it compounds the effect. It's synergistic.
That's fantastic. Well, speaking of, let's jump into the cooking. Okay, so before that, also the antioxidant phytonutrients, it has terpenes and flavonoids. I didn't know actually cannabis have flavonoids. I was so impressed with that.
Yes, yes. I mean, that's again, we talk about that as dietitians. We talk about fruits and vegetables. High in flavonoids, and they're good for health. Well, guess what? Cannabis and hemp are very high in flavonoids. Plant-based medicine.
That's amazing. No, I mean, this is why I'm reading, of course, no wonder this is good stuff. It has all those phytonutrients and antioxidants and all these amazing health benefits. All right, so we have 2 recipes, right, Janice? I mean, you're going to make a beautiful smoothie. So there are some tips I also read in your guide to, and it makes so much sense, of course, as a dietitian, but, you know, to add fat to either smoothies or some of the recipes, because some of these cannabinoids are fat soluble. So tell us about that.
So when you take your CBD, you should consume a fat source. So I tell people, if you're going to have CBD, if you take a soft gel, just take a few nuts, a couple of walnut halves, or some olive oil with your meal when you're having CBD. It's important to have some fat with it, like you said, to increase the absorption.
I love that. All right, so do you want to start with your smoothie first?
Sure.
Tell us about it too. Yes.
All right. Here's my trusty blender. So this is a really easy recipe. It's a pain-busting mango smoothie, I believe is what it's called in the book. And it has 3/4 cups of mango juice or orange juice, and then a cup of frozen mango, and a 1/2 cup of yogurt. Now, I wouldn't get the fat-free yogurt for the reason we were just speaking of. You could use fat or maybe low-fat yogurt. And we put that in. And then what I'm going to put in is some water-soluble tincture. This is a water-soluble tincture that is incredibly popular with my clients. And just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. As many as you want.
Keep adding.
And then, because a couple of weeks ago you had Kelly on and she talked about olive oil.
Yes, exactly. Actually, speaking of her, I have her olive oil here for the brownies.
So there we've got our fat, we've got our mango, we've got our are you ready for a little bit of noise?
Yes, go at it.
Okay.
We're going to show the recipe card in between so people can have the recipe.
Okay. Here we go. Well, that's interesting. When your husband helps out and unplugs your blender.
Blame the husband. I love it.
Okay, it doesn't get much easier than that.
That sounds good. Well, we'll do a tasting in a second. So, so that smoothie, you call it the pain busting. I love
Pain
that.
busting. Yes,
Pain busting with some mango that has the same terpenes that also cannabis has, and it's fantastic stuff. Yes. All right. So
I won't eat it yet. Don't worry. I won't drink it yet until you've got your.
No. Let's wait. Then we do a cheers, and I'm gonna. So I was telling a client about the brownies that we're gonna make, and she made a comment, and I laughed. She's like, "You're making the adult brownies, the pot brownies, but the adult way with black beans." Actually, when I saw that, I said, "Black beans and the brownie." So I not even flour. So it's just black beans, guys. This is fantastic, and this is just a can of black beans. And I put it in a food processor and made a little smash, or like you mentioned, use a fork and smash the black beans. Good bicep workout, by the way. And then we're gonna crack some eggs in here. An easy brownie recipe, to be honest, and nutritious because the fiber in the beans, the protein in the eggs, and I use cacao powder. That's what I had at home. But also people can use unsweetened cocoa powder as well. But of course, as a good Peruvian, I have cacao powder, and has some brown sugar in here too. I got my little spoon there. All right, and then a pinch of salt. All right, I love sea salt on sweets, enhances the flavor, and baking soda, and of course, then I have a little bit of oil here, so I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You can use canola oil like in your recipe. I just didn't have any canola today. I've been cooking up a storm lately, so I ran out of canola. I'm like, oh my God, well, I'm gonna use the olive oil. And that's fine, so I want people to see that you can use what you have. And we're gonna half of the walnuts. So honestly, this brownie is super nutritious. Omega-3s, antioxidants from the cacao, and of course fiber from the beans. And now we're gonna use, thank you for sending me this, by the way. This is your, I was gonna ask you, it says 500 milligrams PCR hemp oil. So is that,
phytocannabinoids and other terpenes and things, the whole plant.
I love that. We just talked about that. And then, of course, remember the recipe you mentioned to add a teaspoon, and we're gonna do that. So you're saying maybe I can have a brownie every morning and then might help me. Or maybe my afternoon snack. I mean, I love these. I mean, it's fun. And we're going to add that there.
It's so healthy. It could be your breakfast. It could be
I mean, seriously, why not? I mean, come on. This whole thing is super nutritious. And yeah, I mean, cacao, eggs, and CBD. I love it. And all right, we mix this well. Then we're going to bake these. Here, I'll actually spray these. And this is canola. So I use both of them. And all right. And now I just pour that mixture in here. And put the remaining walnuts on top. Anyways, we're gonna pretend we did this correctly. Sprinkle it well. All right, and now you bake these for 25 minutes in a preheated oven, the oven at 350, right?
Yes.
Yes, and then perfect. So of course I always make things in advance because we want to taste. We put the remaining of the walnuts on top, which I didn't do for my testing, but that's okay. I love walnuts. Love the walnuts. That looks amazing. Exactly. So now we just bake these for 20 minutes to a half an hour, and we have this beautiful brownie here. Now I'm gonna take that in. So you taste your smoothie. I taste my brownie.
All right.
All right. I can't wait.
We're gonna be so chill with this CBD. Oh wow.
Very good. Very, very good. So Janice.
Yes.
So people can reach to you, and you can act as their dietitian, holistic practitioner, CBD practitioner, correct? Tell us about that.
Okay.
And how people can find you.
They can find me at janibuswellness.com. And that's where I have information. I have research studies. So if people are interested in learning more, they can look at research, all listed by condition. I have information about the products that I have, the different tinctures and soft gels, and I have soft chews. You know, Marco and Polo might be interested in a little secret.
I know Marco and Polo. I cheated with them.
And yeah, I do that. And I teach. So healthcare practitioners, if you want to learn more about this, I'm teaching cannabis therapy at John Patrick University online. And it's part of their master's in integrative and functional medicine program. It's
interesting.
Pretty busy. It's the first program in the country. So it's really exciting to be teaching. I've got nurses in my class. I want to get more dietitians on board. Learn about the medical end of cannabis and CBD therapy.
That's fantastic. And of course, people can get your products, and you were very kind to give us 20% off. All you need to do is write Caliente Kitchen as the code, and you have it open until July, right?
I think July, August, yes.
Whenever. So all this information, by the way, guys, is written in the copy. Facebook above, YouTube below. So go ahead and start. And if you have any questions, of course, Janice is there for you. And Janice, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you, Manuel. It's always a pleasure to see you and talk with you. And I miss you. I miss you.
I know. Hopefully, well, this year I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe next year we can all see each other and give a real hug.
Yes, that's good.
Yes. All right, my friends, as you know, I am across social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, in both languages, English and Spanish. If you want to learn more about what I do, you can visit manuelvillacorta.com. All right, Janice, let's say goodbye to them. Thank you, and until next time, my friends. Bye now.